Hello and welcome to Warcraft Daily for today, the 27th of September 2013. So in today's news we have some talk about the difficulty of LFR, changes to the Battleground queue things, some Twitter stuff, and the Hearthstone beta wipe, which kinda hurts me in a place. So let's get into it. Now for Wing 2, there has as always been a storm of QQ on the forums. And in response, Blizzard have pretty much said that they're actually seeing roughly the same completion rates that they usually get for a new wing. Now they did mention that there's a few hotfixes in the works, especially for Nazgrim, and honestly I think Nazgrim is definitely the one that does need a hotfix. Honestly I would say they should just decrease the amount of rage that he gets from defensive stance, and they should also decrease the damage of Ravager, because from what I can tell, a lot of LFR groups are just getting rooms full of Ravager, meaning that everyone's dying, Nazgrim's getting more rage, and it's just, well, it's descending into madness really, which is a problem. At the end of the day, like, it's one of those fights where a few kind of silly people can really mess things up for the entire fight and just ruin people's experience. Hell, even like with very high determination, the rage mechanics will still possibly lead to a wipe if they get too out of hand. So yeah, it's one of those fights that requires coordination, and they're always the ones that seem to go the worst on LFR. Or at least in say Galacrass, like Galacrass requires coordination, but it really only requires 6 people or 5 people to be good, and honestly finding that many good people in a group of 25 is pretty easy most of the time. So yeah, now of course on the forums you're going to get a way higher proportion of people who've had a bad experience, because people are biased towards negative things. People don't just, like, when they really enjoy something they don't kind of go and make forum posts about it, but when they're really pissed off they make lots and lots of forum posts and type in all caps, and it's all great. Now, they said that they're not 100% sure about how the interaction between LFR and Flex will end up being. Just the reason for that's the different difficulty levels and things, but what they think is that Flex will appeal to people who enjoy LFR in principle, but without the parts of LFR they don't like, which are the sort of things that are solved by having a curated and managed group. Also, of course, there's better loot, there's some achievements that can only be gotten in Flex, things like the Garrosh heirlooms. And I think that's all good. They should be in there to reward people for getting together and having the time. At the end of the day, if the game gives everything out in the easiest difficulty, then that's just really stupid game design. Which, of course, you don't want stupid game design in your MMO. So yeah, that's all that. Now, next, let's talk about Battlegrounds. So in the sort of continuing hail of interesting PvP changes and things, they have hotfixed the rated Battleground queue system. So now the way it works is that if you leave a rated Battleground, you are unable to requeue until the match you were previously in has finished. I'm not really sure what this prevents or anything, because I don't do rated Battlegrounds, but I would have thought you just get like a deserter debuff or something. Anyway, seems like whatever it is, it seems to work, so hey, hopefully it fixes something that was shitty. Now let's talk about Twitter, and there's only 2 things, one from Ghostcrawler and one from Lore. Now first of all, from Ghostcrawler, somebody said that they thought the idea of having it that, say, any hit that you have over your cap would be crit, and any expertise over your cap would be haste, or something like that. And Ghostcrawler actually said that it's not too far left field, and that it's been done successfully in other cases. Now honestly, I think this would be both good and bad, and it's a bit of a double-edged sword. Now of course it makes things a little bit nicer, because it means that excess of some stats are not completely useless. That's good. However, that's a problem that right now is kind of solved, well, partially solved, by reforging. Especially since there's things they can just mathematically tell you, like ask Mr. Robot the exact reforges to do. Now of course, doing this sort of system would also perhaps make it so that itemization doesn't mean much. If any extra hit's going to go into crit, well, it would obviously have to be at a reduced rate to crit, but it does mean that itemization is not as sort of cutthroat as it is now. Like, there are definitely bits of gear that are much, much better than other bits. Funny actually, for hunters we have a bit of a problem. The only gear that we want, there's 2 things from the Sha of Pride, and then we have to wait till Nazgrim until there's good gear for us. So a little bit weird for the loot distribution for hunters into the siege, but whatever. So yeah, that's the thing. I don't know, what do you guys think about that? It'd be interesting to find out. Now next, Laura said that there are no planned suspensions or bans for the Conquest cap issue. If you're not caught up on that, pretty much the cap was calculated wrong for some people, to the point where they could have a catch-up cap worth an entire season going into season 14, meaning they could pretty much get full current season gladiator gear, which was a little bit silly, and they're just going to be removing the gear, no suspensions or anything, and they said that, like Laura said, it was 100% their fault, so they can't really ban people for it, and that seems fair enough to me. Now finally, Hearthstone. And they always did say there would be a beta wipe, and the wipe is incoming, and pretty much everything you have will be wiped. Any purchases you made will be refunded into gold, and the only thing that you'll really keep is if you did make a purchase, you'll get a Gelbin Megatorque legendary card, just as a beta sort of purchase participation thing, and that's fair enough. Now, the one thing, I got really lucky with a pack of cards. I got a golden legendary and a golden rare, and you can see that in my previous Hearthstone video. And yeah, they're gone, so if only, you know, my luck had have actually sort of came in a place where it bloody well mattered. Anyway, yeah, that's really it for today's, like, news. It's really just, I don't know, chatting and stuff. I might get 1 or 2 normal guides out today. Probably not, though. It just depends on the schedule of things. I'll definitely have at least 2 videos today, so it should all be good. Anyway, that's it for me. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the show, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.